So let's talk about that. Your journey now is you went to University of Sioux Falls, you said, right? And then after that, you transferred to Arizona State, I believe.
Yep.
And then you actually walked on the softball team. And at that point in time, how was your knee? How were you back to, performing and physical
At
levels?
that point in time, and this is I owe this to my athletic trainers because at the University of Sioux Falls, they did a great job with my rehab. They really did. There's just a big difference between a woman who's post unhappy triad surgery when it's a year later and never going back to track. I think I never could run as fast as I could run before. Talking about just straight up sprinting, running. I never could run as fast as I could before. I still had a very well-developed cardiovascular system. So longer distance, 400, things like that, I was still able to perform at a pretty fast pace. But stepping into softball was a breeze. Was a breeze. And that was because I had good athletic trainers that did my rehab really well to make sure that I didn't just rehab my knee, right? I rehabbed my core and, my proprioceptive system and everything, not just, make sure she's got full range of motion. It was, the rehab was there. It was on point. So
do you remember if you had a meniscectomy or meniscus repair?
You know what? I don't know. I never asked back then. And I think it was maybe under my mom's insurance. I'll never know exactly what they did to my knee.
Yeah.
I woke up and the thing was sore. That's all I remember.
Yes. Yeah, as a kid, you don't really realize. But I think our guess would be that you did have a meniscus repair because you were in a straight leg brace for a prolonged period of time, actually, that probably helped your recovery in the long term, if that's what actually happened. So now when you got back into softball, performance-wise, did you feel that you were strong enough to at least play and compete?
Definitely. Definitely. We see athletes that come back from, my goodness, multiple ACL tears now. I have one of my athletes, 14 years old. She tore her ACL the first time. It's torn, then the other one, then back to that one again. She's playing volleyball in college right now. And I was completely supportive of her the whole entire time that you tore your ACL. It's not the end of the road. Trust me, it's not the end of the road. And so having that foresight, like being able to be fortunate enough to say, you know what, I did my rehab from an unhappy triad. I came back, I walked onto the softball team at ASU just so I could get some scholarship money. It's doable. It's doable for sure.
So let's talk about that transition from University of Sioux Falls and how your journey played out. And let's talk a little bit about, since you're big on academics and getting an education, talk about that journey and what kinds of programs and degrees you got along the way.
Oh, man.
How did you end up in Hawaii? We're going to connect to that.
Sometimes when, like, looking back, I'm thinking, how many credit hours do I have? I don't want to go and find out. It's a lot. It is a lot. I think from the time when we graduated with our masters from UH, I was in school literally from 2002 at that point. So we graduated 2013. Solid 11 years of college, solid. And I have associates of arts degrees. I have associates of science degrees in psychology. I have a teaching certificate in the state of Arizona. I could go be a certified teacher. I just have to get my recertification in the state of Arizona. A bachelor's degree in kinesiology from ASU, a bachelor's degree in kinesiology and rehabilitative sciences from University of Hawaii, and master's degree with specialization in athletic training from the University of Hawaii. So that's a lot. And plenty kids, right? Taking care of kids, having kids in between, getting married in between, moving from Wyoming to South Dakota to Arizona to Hawaii, all in the span of 6 years? Whew, it was a lot. There was a lot going on.